Welcome back to Yusuf Reacts, where we explore the world of cinema. I am Jane and today, we are taking a journey to the romantic thriller, The Tourist, directed by Florian Henkel von Donnersmarck and starring Johnny Depp and Angelina Jolie. The Tourist follows the story of Frank Tupelo, an American tourist, played by Johnny Depp, who meets Elise Clifton Ward, played by Angelina Jolie, while traveling in Europe. What starts as a chance encounter on a train quickly turns into a whirlwind of romance, intrigue, and danger. The plot revolves around mistaken identity, as Elise deliberately crosses paths with Frank to mislead those pursuing her former lover, Alexander Pierce. The plot sickens as Frank finds himself entangled in a web of deception and danger. Johnny Depp brings his signature charm to the role of Frank Tupelo, portraying a somewhat naive math teacher who is caught up in circumstances beyond his control. Angelina Jolie's portrayal of the mysterious Elise is captivating, exuding elegance and sophistication throughout the film. Florian Henkel von Donnersmarck's direction shines in capturing the picturesque beauty of Venice and Paris, creating a visually stunning backdrop for the unfolding drama. The pacing keeps the audience engaged, blending action, suspense, and romance seamlessly. The cinematography by John Seal is breathtaking, particularly the aerial views of Venice. The film's aesthetic appeal adds to its overall allure, making it a visual treat for the audience. The film's score, composed by James Newton Howard, perfectly complements the on-screen action, enhancing the suspense and romance of the story. A woman sitting in a Parisian cafe reads a letter telling her to take the train to Venice, pick a man of the sender's height and build, and chat him up. She's being watched. Scotland Yard and a mobster with a crew of Russian thugs are looking for a man she knows. On the train, she talks to an American, Frank, suggests they have dinner, and, once in Venice, invites him to her hotel. The bait is set. The Russians think Frank is the man they want, Alexander Pierce, who stole billions from the mobster. Scotland Yard realizes Frank is just a tourist, but by now he's in danger, smitten by the mystery woman, and in their way. Can the Yard keep Frank from death and still catch Pierce? Revolves around Frank, an American tourist visiting Italy to mend a broken heart. Elise is an extraordinary woman who deliberately crosses his path. Elise Angelina Jolie sits next to an American tourist, Frank Johnny Depp, on a train going to Venice. She has chosen him as a decoy, making believe that he is her lover who is wanted by police. Not only will they need to evade the police, but also the mobster whose money her lover stole. A woman named Elise Angelina Jolie is being trailed in Paris by French police working with Scotland Yard. At a cafe, she receives a letter from Alexander Pierce, a former lover, with explicit directions to board a train to Venice, Italy. Pick out a man who resembles him, and make the police believe that this man is Alexander Pierce. A mysterious stranger, not involved with the police, also seems to be watching Elise. Elise burns a letter and boards a train. She takes a seat across from Frank Johnny Depp, an American tourist reading a spy novel. Frank is instantly attracted to her. The train arrives in Venice, and she invites him to go with her on a boat to the Hotel Daniele. At dinner, much to Frank's dismay, Elise admits to having feelings for another man, presumably Alexander Pierce. Later, on her room's balcony they share a kiss, witnessed by the men following her. The next day, Frank awakens to find Elise gone. Men suddenly try to break into the hotel room. Frank barely escapes by running over several roofs in his pajamas, but is caught by the Italian police. A sympathetic detective listens to Frank's story that he does not know why these men are after him. He takes Frank from the jail and tells him that his story checks out and that the men after him were Belarusians, who have placed a price on his head and believe Frank to be someone else. The detective, however, then delivers Frank into the clutches of these same men, in order to collect the money they promised. Elise suddenly appears with a boat to rescue Frank, and they flee together. Elise finally tells Frank that all this is happening because she kissed him and made the police believe that he was Alexander Pierce. Frank learns that Pierce stole $2 billion from a gangster named Shaw Stephen Burkoff, and is also wanted by the British government for tax evasion. Stunned by the news, Frank says he still does not regret kissing Elise. Elise apologizes for getting him involved at all and tricks Frank off the boat. Frank says he loves her. Elise goes to a government building. She turns out to be a British secret agent. She sees her fellow British agent Atchison Paul Bettany, who was among those following her in Paris. Elise was supposed to work undercover against Pierce, but fell in love with him and had disappeared from her job until now. She tells Atchison that she is ready to help him find Pierce now because she wants to prevent anybody else from getting hurt. Elise goes to a ball Pierce has invited her to attend, wearing a wire. She is handed a letter by the same mysterious stranger from Paris. The letter is from Pierce, saying where to meet him. As Elise turns to leave, Frank appears and prevents her exit. They dance. Elise leaves to find Pierce, and Agent Atchison's men apprehend Frank. They both watch on surveillance equipment as Elise walks into a trap set by the gangster Shaw. The gangster threatens to kill her unless she reveals the location of the safe holding the money Pierce stole from him. Agent Atchison doesn't intervene for his colleague Elise, confident that Pierce will show up to rescue her. Elise reveals the safe's location but does not know its code. Frank watches in horror as Elise is threatened yet again. Seeing that Atchison won't help Elise, Frank picks the lock to his handcuffs and escapes to help her. Frank pretends to be Pierce. Elise begs him to stop or he will be killed. Frank, acting as Pierce, tells Shaw that he will get his money, but only if Elise is first released and safe. As Frank pretends that he is about to open the safe, Elise mouths, "I love you." All of a sudden, Chief Inspector Jones Timothy Dalton gives the order for the police snipers to shoot Shaw and his men. Frank and Elise are unharmed. As the police survey the scene, Agent Atchison can't believe that Pierce did not save Elise, and Jones is furious with him for exposing her to danger. Jones then informs Elise that she has been terminated from the force. A police report informs them that Pierce has just been caught. As the room clears, Elise and Frank embrace. He asks her if she loves both him and Alexander Pierce. Elise answers yes, To spare her from this dilemma, Frank demonstrates that he is a real Alexander Pierce by entering the correct code for the safe. Pierce had gotten plastic surgery so he could have a new life. Meanwhile, the arrested man believed to be Pierce explains to police that he was paid to pose as him but that he is really just a tourist. Police and Frank or Pierce leave on a boat with the money, finally being able to be together. In the open safe, police find a banker's check for the £744 million in back taxes Pierce owed the British government. The Tourist is very similar to some of the Hollywood escapist fare of the 1950s and early 1960s, with the likes of Cary Grant, Audrey Hepburn and Grace Kelly. In several films during this era, Grant played an American in European exotic locales, dealing with espionage in relatively light-hearted plots. The classic films of this ilk which come to mind are To Catch a Thief, Charade, even Roman Holiday, taking place in Monte Carlo, Monaco, Paris, and Rome. In The Tourist, Depp plays a Cary Grant-like character and Angelina Jolie has a long dark hair of Audrey Hepburn with the demureness of Grace Kelly. The action begins in Paris then moves to Venice. The best thing about the film is the opening. The viewer is plopped right into the middle of things without any background or knowledge. A demure mystery woman Jolie arrives at a cafe in Paris near the Champs-Élysées and orders her usual, which we learn is already being prepared. She's a regular. A mysterious note is given to her and provides detailed instructions concerning exact steps she's supposed to take right after leaving the cafe. While she is reading the note, we learn she is being staked out by government officials. Part of the instruction says, pick someone with my height and build and make them believe it is me. She burns the note and makes her way to the central train terminal in Paris. Part of the fun of the story is that we don't know who wrote the note. And part of the mystery fantasy is the gradual revelation regarding who the unknown letter writer is. The voice-over for the note is Jolie, which is somewhat confusing at first, because the writer is male. On a train to Venice, she meets a clueless American tourist from Wisconsin, Frank, played by Johnny Depp. Depp, who doesn't exactly seem like a clueless tourist from Wisconsin, acts flattered that a woman who just walked out of Vogue magazine would sit by him on the train. And so begins a rather fun, if somewhat improbable, misadventure. Depp appears to be someone with my height and build. Two factions are on the trail on the unknown letter writer. Scotland Yard authorities who believe he has not paid back taxes on a transaction worth several billion British pounds. And an international mob run by an older baddie who would kill not only a man who cheats on his wife, but he'll kill his wife too, and all the members of both families. He would even kill the man's doctor, just for good measure. The mob boss lost billions to the mystery man who was once a trusted part of his organization. Part of the plot is the tried and true mistaken identity device in which the authorities and the mob appear to be confusing the clueless tourist with the unseen letter writer. Everyone is sure the man they want is Depp. A fun fantasy which combines elements of romantic comedy and international espionage. There are a couple of obligatory chase scenes and even a romantic interlude or two, with the compulsory ballroom and casino scenes. What makes it work are the fine performances by Depp and Jolie. The ending is pretty interesting, but there are aspects during the film which don't quite mesh with the information presented previously. But if you're willing to suspend your disbelief and let your imagination run wild, The Tourist is a fun treat, sort of like a nice bowl of vanilla ice cream. French vanilla, of course, on Viennese china. The Tourist is a stylish and entertaining thriller that keeps you on the edge of your seat from start to finish. While some critics may argue about the plot's predictability, the chemistry between Depp and Jolie, along with the film's stunning visuals, makes it a worthwhile watch. That's all for today's review. Have you seen The Tourist? What did you think? Let us know in the comments below. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more movie reviews. Until next time, this is Jane signing off.